Hello everyone, my name is Fletch and I am currently in beautiful Utah in USA. So just this year I came back in June from 1 year of teaching English in Japan. So I really enjoyed my experience and I wanted to try to help other people get to Japan if they want to start teaching there, start working there. So I figured I'd make a YouTube series on how to get an English teaching job in Japan. So, my experience in Japan, I lived in Kanagawa Prefecture, which is just west of Tokyo. I was about 30 minutes away from Shibuya. I was also able to take day trips to Kamakura and a lot of really amazing tourist spots around the Tokyo and Kanagawa area. I lived in a really nice one-person apartment with high-tech gadgets and really close to a lot of amazing shops and convenience stores. If you'd like to see more of my apartment, please click on the I in the corner above, and I'll link my apartment tour there. What was really cool about living so close to Tokyo was that I would take trips to Shibuya and Kamakura, like I said, all the time. One time I met Deadpool in Shibuya. I think it was around Christmas time. It was so bizarre, but it was really fun. So, with my 1 year of teaching English in Japan, I taught for a company called AEON. I had a really good experience there, although there are a lot of mixed reviews. So AEON is what's called an Eikaiwa, or a English conversation school. So if you want to teach English in Japan yourself, there are a few underlying requirements. From any English-speaking country in the world, you would need a 4-year degree. Now, I stipulate on this because most of the larger companies, like Interac, Jet, or AEON, GABA, ECC, they all require this 4-year degree just for visa reasons. Now, if you're in Australia or Canada, possibly England or the United Kingdom, you may not need a 4-year degree if you go to some of the private or maybe smaller Eikaiwa schools. But for any of the bigger schools, they all generally require you to have a 4-year degree. This 4-year degree doesn't have to be in anything special. It doesn't have to be in English. For example, my 4-year degree from university was in business management with a specialty in hospitality management. And so, that has nothing to do with English teaching whatsoever, but I was able to go straight out of university, go to Japan, and teach some English to really willing learners. Other requirements, well, not really requirements, but suggestions are that you have a really flexible and open attitude, a really energetic demeanor, and, just be personable. If you are the type of person that people will like to learn from and like to be around, then you will have no problem getting a teaching job in Japan. Briefly going over the differences between ALT and Eikaiwa. So I'll cover this in a video, a couple videos later, maybe a few weeks down the road. But ALT is called an assistant language teacher. So as an English native speaker, you will be an assistant teacher to a native Japanese speaker who teaches, grammar and structures to the students, and you would teach a lot of pronunciation and different things. As an ALT, you will often teach in public high schools, junior high schools, sometimes elementary schools. That's generally uncommon. But so you'll be teaching in the public schools and be working with the Board of Education of Japan. So I hear a lot of people say it's really entertaining. You get to work with a lot of kids, and you don't have to put too much effort into the work. Sometimes you're only, teaching maybe 15 to 20 hours per week. The rest of the time being, lesson prep or, working in English projects in the community, things like that. These are only things that I have personally heard. I've never taught as an ALT before, so I can't give my personal experience on that. For the Eikaiwa, It's a conversation school in Japan for English, and instructors go there to teach kind of everything. As a native English teacher, you are the sole teacher in the class, and you teach not only pronunciation, how to speak sentences fluently, but also grammar structures and the highly advanced things to the more upper students. The only negative thing about Eikaiwa schools is that a lot of people say a lot of Eikaiwa schools focus too heavily on selling. So Eikaiwa schools are private businesses, so profit is a really key factor in keeping those schools alive. Unfortunately, this means you will be conducting interviews, you will be doing trial lessons, and you'll spend a lot more of your time focusing on the money aspect of the school rather than teaching. That's not to say that you won't be teaching many lessons. As an Eikaiwa instructor myself, I was teaching anywhere between 27 to 32 lessons per week, just depending on how busy it was and how many students didn't show up that week. It can be a busy load, but it was a really good experience, and I think a lot of people would agree. So that was a brief overview of working in Japan as an English teacher in ALT environments and Eikaiwa environments. I don't want to go too deep, too in-depth on ALT and Eikaiwa today, but I would like to do some more research on them just so I know everything that I need to know about ALT, and then I'll compile a video and get a video up next week kind of comparing the differences between ALT and Eikaiwa, the lifestyles and everything kind of going into that. And I will see you guys next week. That's all I have time for today. See ya! Isn't this a pretty sight?